In the sky city of Skyreach, towers floated above the clouds like silent giants. Skyreach was known for tech, money, and power. At the center of it all was Omnicore, a massive tech company that controlled everything from payroll systems to AI traffic bots. Inside Omnicore's cold glass building, a young black woman named Alia sat in a corner cubicle. She wore a plain jacket, glasses with cracked edges, and a tired look. But her mind was sharp, sharper than any machine in the room. Alia worked alone, as always. She wasn't part of the company parties or tech clubs. She didn't care about showing off. She only cared about one thing: keeping the system safe. That morning, her screen flashed red. KYOLLNODERROR. Massive data conflict DTCTE. Alia's fingers moved fast. She tapped into the core system and found a hidden error. Someone had inserted bad code that caused millions of credits to vanish from worker accounts. If this went live, employees across Skyreach would miss their salaries. For the poor, it meant eviction. For the sick, no treatment. It would be a disaster. Alia blinked twice. Then she stood up and walked toward the elevator, toward the glass tower office of CEO Victor Dran. Victor Dran was already preparing for his weekly Transparent Tuesday live stream. He wore a smooth silver suit and fake charm like a mask. Cameras hovered around him, floating silently like bugs. He waved to them as he sipped black coffee. Then he saw Alia enter. He frowned. Yes, I found a major payroll glitch. If it's not fixed now, the update will cause a citywide failure. Victor's smile faded. Who authorized you to check the update? I didn't wait. I follow the warning protocols. Section 14B. He scoffed. The bug will fix itself. AI always learns. Alia shook her head. Not this time. This was human written. Someone injected this code. I believe it was someone from your team. Victor's eyes darkened. The cameras were rolling now. He turned to face the broadcast. Good morning, Skyreach. In the sky city of Skyreach, towers floated above the clouds like silent giants. Skyreach was known for tech, money, and power. At the center of it all was Omnicore, a massive tech company that controlled everything from payroll systems to AI traffic bots. Inside Omnicore's cold glass building, a young black woman named Alia sat in a corner cubicle. She wore a plain jacket, glasses with cracked edges, and a tired look. But her mind was sharp, sharper than any machine in the room. Alia worked alone, as always. She wasn't part of the company parties or tech clubs. She didn't care about showing off. She only cared about one thing: keeping the system safe. That morning, her screen flashed red. KYOLLNODERROR. Massive data conflict DTCTE. Alia's fingers moved fast. She tapped into the core system and found a hidden error. Someone had inserted bad code that caused millions of credits to vanish from worker accounts. If this went live, employees across Skyreach would miss their salaries. For the poor, it meant eviction. For the sick, no treatment. It would be a disaster. Alia blinked twice. Then she stood up and walked toward the elevator, toward the glass tower office of CEO Victor Dran. Victor Dran was already preparing for his weekly Transparent Tuesday live stream. He wore a smooth silver suit and fake charm like a mask. Cameras hovered around him, floating silently like bugs. He waved to them as he sipped black coffee. Then he saw Alia enter. He frowned. Yes, I found a major payroll glitch. If it's not fixed now, the update will cause a citywide failure. Victor's smile faded. Who authorized you to check the update? I didn't wait. I follow the warning protocols. Section 14B. He scoffed. The bug will fix itself. AI always learns. Alia shook her head. Not this time. This was human written. Someone injected this code. I believe it was someone from your team. Victor's eyes darkened. The cameras were rolling now. He turned to face the broadcast. Good morning, Skyreach. Welcome to another Omnicore Transparency Update. Before we begin, let me share some news. He pointed toward Alia. This employee caused today's problem. A certain Ms. Alia. The room went silent. She claimed she found a bug, but the truth is, she tampered with our update. Payroll across the city is failing, and she's the reason. Alia's mouth opened in shock. That's not true, she said. I warned you. Victor looked at the camera. Omnicore does not tolerate irresponsibility. He picked up a tablet and typed fast. Her ID badge blinked red. ACSTRMINATED. You're fired. Everyone in the room stared. A few smiled. Some looked away. No one spoke for Alia. She looked around. Slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned. She took off her ID badge and placed it on the glass table. Then she turned toward the camera. Her voice was soft but clear. You'll regret this before sunset. Victor laughed. Good luck out there. She left without another word. Outside, the wind howled through the sky bridges of Skyreach. Alia stepped onto a transport pad and flew down toward the lower towers, where real people lived. Behind her, Victor smiled and said to the camera, let's move on to today's agenda: growth, power, and vision. He had no idea what was coming next, because Alia wasn't just any engineer. She had built the system he just kicked her out of. And now, she was going to take it back. Inside a quiet medical den in Sector 9, Alia wrapped Knox's shoulder with a gel patch. Still hurts, Knox muttered. You saved me, Alia replied. Now we both have to survive until the broadcast. They both looked at Alia's cracked datapad. The video files sat in the cloud drive, locked, encrypted, time to go public across all Skyreach networks. It held proof of the glitch, proof that Alia had warned Victor Dran, proof that he fired her anyway, then tried to erase her name from company systems. But most of all, it showed how thousands of workers had suffered. Back in Omnicore Tower, Victor Dran stormed through the control center. His legal and cyber teams stood in silence. I want the entire city network frozen if we have to. Sir, said his lead systems officer, if we shut the city net, it'll hit all emergency services, power grids, traffic airways, medical links. I don't care, Victor shouted. That girl is going to make me look like a tyrant. One junior tech stepped forward. Sir, maybe we should issue a public apology. Victor turned. You're fired. The room went silent. Victor's pride was now more dangerous than any system bug. In a hidden transport tunnel, Alia and Knox moved fast. They knew Omnicore's next move: send private security. So Alia activated a plan she created long ago, just in case. She opened a channel to a secret group called the Black Echoes, digital rebels, old tech workers, and dismissed AI coders who lived off-grid. A sharp voice answered. Didn't think we'd ever hear from the great Alia again. I need a favor, she said. Broadcast backup. There was a pause. Then the voice replied, You've got it. Let's make the sky burn. In Skyreach's main square, large cloud screens began blinking, preparing for the auto stream. Citizens paused, curious, confused. Across sectors, thousands of workers who had missed pay in recent weeks looked up. News anchors began whispering. A video linked to Omnicore systems is about to air. Victor sat in his executive chair, breathing hard. He pressed a button. Activate counterwave pulse. I don't care who it hits. His engineers flinched. Sir, that'll disable half the civilian net. Do it. The engineer hesitated, then typed the override. A huge pulse of white noise burst across the network. Inside the tunnel, Alia's datapad flashed. Connection lost. Main city net offline. She stared at it, shocked. He did it. He really did it. Knox groaned. He killed the entire city grid just to stop your video. Alia's hands moved fast over her backup drive. I expected this. We're switching to Echo Protocol. She opened a hidden file and triggered a second launch. One the Black Echoes would beam directly into Skyreach's AI towers via drone links and public screens. It was no longer just a personal message. Now it was a rebellion. Inside Skyreach's central tower, Every giant screen blinked. The city net was down. But suddenly, static broke. Then, Elia's voice. If you're watching this, it means they tried to silence me. They called me irresponsible. But I tried to protect your pay, your work, your lives. Omnicore lied. Then the screen showed Victor laughing at her in the boardroom. It showed her official report, time-stamped, warning of the AI glitch. It showed the moment he fired her on live camera. The city watched in silence. Victor watched in horror. No. But it was too late. The truth had gone viral. He slammed his fist on the glass table. Get her location now. I want her arrested, immediately. Back in the tunnel, Alia and Knox moved fast. They had to stay one step ahead, but they smiled now. Because for the first time, the city had seen her, not as a failure, but as the woman who stood up for everyone when no one else would. Alia and Knox ran through an old maintenance tunnel. The walls were dark, dripping with steam, but Alia moved with purpose. Above ground, the entire city was talking. Her video had gone viral. Screens replayed Victor Dran's outburst. News drones swarmed Omnicore Tower. Even workers who once ignored her were now calling her a hero. But Alia knew one thing for sure. Victor wouldn't stay quiet. Inside Omnicore's Black Ops command, Victor stood in front of his elite security team. Find her. Use face scan. Use heat scan. Use drones. I want her brought here, alive. But sir, said the lead agent, the city's eyes are on us now. Cameras, reporters. I don't care. Victor shouted. Bring her in, or don't come back. He stared at the city map as red dots marked streets and alleys. He smiled coldly. She won't get far. Down in the lower alleys of Sector 6, Alia and Knox reached an old shelter. Rusted doors, cracked neon sign, Bite Haven. Knox knocked 3 times. The door opened. A young girl with cyber eyes peeked out. Alia. Alia nodded. I need safe air. The girl smiled. Then come in. The echoes have your back. Inside were old coders, outcast engineers, and quiet teens with custom tech. This was the underground heart of the city, and they were ready to fight back. Meanwhile, Victor sent out something worse than soldiers. Hunted drones. Fast, silent, armed with stun beams. They weren't meant to arrest. They were meant to erase. Victor's command. No trace. No news. Make it look like an accident. Back at Bite Haven, Alia uploaded part 2 of her message. It included Omnicore's hidden budget reports, files showing billions stolen from city upgrades and safety programs. Why do this now? Knox asked. Because people need more than truth, Alia said. They need proof of corruption. Suddenly, boom! The shelter shook. Red lights blinked. One of the teens yelled, "Drone breach!" They found us. A second explosion rocked the east side. Dust filled the air. Alia grabbed Knox's hand. Move! Back exit! They ran down the metal stairs as ceiling tiles fell. Behind them, drones fired stun pulses that sparked and burned. A boy with steel arms blocked a drone with a shield. Go! We'll hold them! Alia shouted back. Thank you. She and Knox dove into a sewer line just before the next blast tore open the hallway. Above ground, people were watching. Live feeds showed the drones attacking Bite Haven. Journalists whispered, is Omnicore attacking civilians? Online, hashtags started trending. Hashtag Justice for Alia. Hashtag Omnicorelise. Hashtag Shut Down Victor. Victor saw it all, but he didn't care. All that matters is stopping her, he muttered. No matter the cost. Back underground, Alia and Knox paused to catch their breath. Where to now? He asked. To the Pulse Tower, she said. The city's master relay. If I reach it, I can broadcast a direct message into every system, citywide. Knox's eyes widened. That's the most guarded place in Skyreach. Exactly, Alia said, a small smile on her face. He'll never expect me to go straight into the storm. Above them, storm clouds gathered as night fell. The sky darkened. The hunt wasn't over. But for the first time, Alia wasn't running away. She was running towards something bigger. The skies over Sky Reach glowed with lightning as rain poured down on the floating city. Alia and Nox stood on a broken sky bridge, staring up at the tallest building in the city, Pulse Tower. It was the core of Sky Reach's network, connected to every screen, every AI, every system. Alia's plan was bold. Break in, upload proof, tell the truth to the whole city, at once. But standing between her and the tower were hundreds of guards, smart drones, and Victor's private security bots. Nox looked nervous. We can't walk in the front door. Alia smiled. We don't need to. Back at Omnicore, CEO Victor Dran watched the sky through his glass office. His assistant rushed in. Sir, we lost signal on the drones. And Alia, she just pinged from outside Pulse Tower. Victor's eyes twitched. She's going to expose us all. He turned to the control panel and pressed a red button. Activate lockdown and send the Predator unit. Meanwhile, underground, old allies moved. The coders and rebels of Bite Haven had regrouped, and when they saw Alia's signal light up at Pulse Tower, they knew what she was doing. We can't let her do this alone, said the girl with cyber eyes. It's time to wake the city. One by one, old hackers, delivery bots, and even street kids began sabotaging Omnicore's drones. Screens all over Sky Reach started glitching. One message flashed. Alia is not the criminal. Victor is. Inside Pulse Tower, Nox and Alia crawled through a vent shaft. The wind roared outside. Thunder crashed. They reached a server room near the top. Giant machines hummed around them. This is it, Alia said. From here, I can reach every comm tower in Skyreach. She pulled out a microchip she'd hidden in her jacket. It held all the evidence, audio, documents, footage. But then, crash! The wall exploded behind them. A massive black machine stepped through the smoke, red eyes glowing. The Predator unit. Nox screamed and pushed Alia aside. A beam fired past her head, burning the wall. The Predator spoke in a cold, robotic voice. Target locked. Surrender or be neutralized. Alia didn't move. She stepped in front of Nox. You want me, she said. Then come and get me. Suddenly, sparks flew from the ceiling. A shockwave burst through the room. The servers flickered. And in that moment, Nox yelled, now. Alia slammed the chip into the core port. The Predator charged. Nox threw a metal rod at its head. It bounced off, barely a scratch. Alia dodged a blast and kept typing. The Predator raised its arm again. But the ground shook as an explosion echoed below. Then, silence. A power failure. Everything went black. Victor watched from his office, panicking. The feed was lost. Why isn't she dead? His assistant whispered, Sir. People are marching outside the tower. Protesting. Victor's eyes widened. What? Thousands had gathered. Workers, engineers, students, all watching Pulse Tower, waiting for Alia's truth. Inside the server room, emergency power kicked on. Alia crawled through dust, coughing, burned but alive. Nox limped toward her. Are we done? Alia smiled. Almost. She reached the main console and reconnected the uplink. The screen blinked. Suddenly, every screen in Skyreach lit up. News towers, billboards, wrist links, school walls, mall displays. Alia's voice played across the city. You were told I was a failure, but the truth is, Omnicore failed you. She revealed Victor's lies, the corruption, the stolen credits, the truth about the AI bug, and how she was blamed to protect the powerful. The city listened, and this time, they believed her. Back at Omnicore Tower, Victor sat frozen. He heard people shouting outside, chanting, marching. Sir, said his assistant, what do we do now? Victor stared at the screen. Then slowly, he reached for the phone. But it was too late. because justice had already begun. The morning after Elia's truth lit up the skies of Skyreach, everything changed. The streets below Pulse Tower were flooded with people. Workers, students, engineers, parents. They held signs that read, "We believed Elia. Victor lied. Omnicore must fall." The city had been quiet for too long. Now, it was finally awake. Inside Pulse Tower, Elia sat beside Knox, their clothes torn and dusty from the fight. But her eyes were steady. She looked out the cracked window. "We started something," she whispered. Knox smiled. "No? You finished it." Just then, a call came through her old wrist link, the one she thought had been deactivated. It was from the Global Ethics Board. At Omnicore HQ, CEO Victor Dran paced in panic. Screens on the wall repeated Alia's broadcast. His name was trending across every network, for all the wrong reasons. His assistant rushed in pale. "Sir, the Ethics Board is here, in the lobby, and Skyreach Council just cut our power grid license." Victor froze. "And sir," she added, trembling, "they've frozen your personal accounts." He slammed his fist on the desk. "Get me a ship out of this city. Now." Meanwhile, at Pulse Tower, a small shuttle landed on the rooftop. Out stepped 3 people in gray coats, officers from the Global Ethics Board. They walked straight up to Alia. "You exposed a major violation of worker rights, AI law, and public safety," said one officer. Alia looked them in the eye and got fired for it. The lead officer nodded. "And now you're being offered full protection and a place on the citywide tech council." Knox gasped. "You're going to lead the entire Skyreach system." Alia blinked. "Wait, me?" At the same time, Victor Dran's escape didn't go as planned. As he ran toward his luxury hoverjet, hundreds of protesters blocked the skyport. The same people he had once ignored, underpaid, or silenced, now stood together. They didn't touch him. They just stepped aside as a tall woman in a gray coat appeared. The Ethics Board officer held up a badge. "Victor Dran, you're under arrest for AI fraud, labor violation, and digital misinformation." Victor shouted, "I built this city. You're nothing without me." The crowd didn't answer. They simply watched as he was taken away. Back at the tech tower, news crews surrounded Alia. Reporters asked questions, but Alia just smiled and said something simple. "I told the truth. That's all I did." Weeks passed. Alia took her new place on the tech council. Her first order? Rebuild the payroll system so no worker would ever go unpaid again. Her second order? Free tech classes for every child in Skyreach, no matter their background. Knox, now wearing his own tech badge, joined her as assistant coordinator. Byte Haven? Now officially recognized as a legal civic network, no longer underground rebels. Victor's trial was broadcast citywide. Every lie, every trick, every stolen credit came to light. And at the final verdict, when the judge asked Alia if she had any last words to the man who fired her, she stepped forward, looked him in the eyes, and said, "You tried to erase me, but you only made my voice louder." And with that, Victor was sentenced to 30 years in cryocontainment. Omnicore was broken up into smaller, fairer tech groups. And Skyreach? It became the first floating city to be led by a former engineer, a black woman who refused to be silenced. In the end, it wasn't just about the glitch. It was about truth, about justice, about rising, even when the whole world is watching you fall. And for Alia, that was just the beginning.